Hi, I'm Larry Castle, and in this Church Center Minute, I want to give you a quick why-to about your Church Center profile and the CBC member directory. You heard that right. I didn't say how to. We cover that in a different video. I said why to. I've been very impressed with how many people at CBC have actually taken time to update their Church Center profiles and make sure that there's a current picture of themselves included. But there still are many people who haven't done that yet, so I thought I'd take a moment to explain the why behind my encouragement to do this to make sure we all understand the value of having your profile up to date in the member directory. We receive calls from CBC members regularly to the church office asking for contact information for other CBC members. They often want to send cards of sympathy or encouragement. Sometimes they're trying to invite other CBCers to important events like weddings or graduation parties. And if we all have our basic contact information listed in the member directory, we save each other a lot of legwork when we need to get in touch with one another, especially when it's for a big event and the member has a lot of people to contact. So the first why to is that it makes it easy for members to contact one another. And if it's easy for us to contact one another, we're more likely to do it. And regular contact with our brothers and sisters in our church family is an important component to our growth in Christ and our effectiveness in our mission together. Now, the second why to is related to the first. How many times have you had the name of a CBCer mentioned to you and you weren't quite sure who they were? Or perhaps you talked to another CBCer at church, but later you couldn't remember their name. Not only does keeping your church center profile up to date make it easier to contact one another, it allows you to connect a name with a face. You can do a search for any other member of CBC, and if their profile is up to date, you can see their current profile photo and match that name to a face. And it works the other way too. You can scroll through the directory to find the person that you met last Sunday just by looking at the photos as they scroll by. And when you find them, you now have a name to go with their face. There are a couple things to keep in mind when updating your profile photo that can ensure that it works this way. First, consider making your profile photo an up-close picture of yourself, your face. It's not uncommon on social media apps to make your profile photo the logo of your favorite sports team or a picture of your whole family or that really good picture of a cardinal that you took in your yard. But that doesn't really help other CBCers know who you are. And after all, this is a directory. But it's up to you what you use as your photo. We recommend that you use a picture that helps identify you to other CBCers. They've also added a separate family photo option in Church Center so that you can have a photo of yourself on your profile, but still have a photo of your family on your profile as well. In fact, the member directory can be viewed as individual profiles or family profiles. Now, the last why to that I wanted to share isn't necessarily about the member directory, but it is an important benefit of your Church Center profile. We use your profile to include you in all kinds of communications from CBC. For our weekly announcements and prayer update emails, our specialized communications like men's and women's ministry events and news. There are even some critical communications like service cancellation notices or end of the year giving statements for your tax records. For all of these communications, your profile information tells us how to reach you. We get your email address, your phone number from your Church Center profile anytime that we communicate with you. If your information is outdated or inaccurate, you may miss important communications from CBC. For example, if your gender is not specified in your profile, you may not receive the appropriate communications about men's or women's events, since we build those mailing lists based on the gender in the Church Center profile. Another example is if your birth date year is incorrect or incomplete in your profile, you may miss important information about adult group events or age demographic group events because those lists include people over the age of 18 based on your birth date in your profile. Now, I know birth dates can be a touchy subject, and I'm not going to be asking any of you your age because I'm polite, but so is Church Center. It won't display your birth year to anyone in Church Center publicly. Even the limited places where your birthday appears, like lists for your small group leaders, things like that, the year's not included. It's just the month and the day. There is a very small group of database administrators who have access to the birth year in our Church Center profiles, but we're careful not to share that information with anyone else, and we don't generally need to look at it either. So there you have it, 3 WhyTos for having your church profile up to date in Church Center. If you haven't downloaded Church Center yet, you can do it today using the link in the video description below. Then you'll be able to log in and update your profile to make sure other CBCers know how to get in touch with you, and that we all get to know each other and put faces with names, and to make sure that you get the communications from CBC that are relevant to you. That's it for this Church Center Minute. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.